Right, I'm going to show you how agencies are adding 20-30% top line with us. All right, and this is through rebilling. And this is a very, very simple example. If this is, for this example, I'm going to use AI chat. But if this is voice, you can just replace the AI message event to an AI voice event. And rather than just a flat rate going through, it's a flat rate per minute. And you just multiply by the minutes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So kind of how this works before we go into the workspace and we go in the sub account and set this all up, I give you some cool stuff that you can do there. How it works is when an AI message is generated, we go to the workspace and we say, hey, do they have an OpenAI key or do they not have an OpenAI key, right? If they don't have an OpenAI key, what we do is we flat rate bill 2 cents per message because this kind of is the cost average of us. We're just passing on the cost between something like a crazy recursive tool call or just a simple message, and the average usually comes out to about 2 cents per message event of a conversation. So we worked out that math for you and made it super, super easy just to pass on that billing. But if you opt in to put in your own OpenAI key, which is really good, by the way, we do use location ID as caching. So each location does have its own input caching, which is like self-learning. You could put in your OpenAI key, but there's some pros and cons to both. One, if you have an OpenAI key that's not seasoned, of course, you'll probably hit your limits really, really fast. But you have a little bit more control over these things, and you have control over models. Whereas if we're putting in our stuff, we use a native model and bill the 2 cents. So the way it works is when a message happens, we just say, hey, do they have a key or do they don't? If they don't have a key, then we build a workspace 2 cents for that process message. If you do have a key, though, and it goes through our checker, so this is another caveat to that, is we check your OpenAI key. So you can put an OpenAI key in, right? But we may go to check it and it may not work. For whatever reason, the account is inactive. You don't have access to the certain models that you've opted in for, whatever it is. We do have a checker that runs through this. So sometimes some people will say, I have my OpenAI key in, but I still get the 2 cent billing per message. We'll get some UX UI in there to kind of help out with this. But what this is we check the key before we actually ran the chat completion, the response, and the OpenAI key did not work for some reason. It returned a 400, 404, 429, whatever it may be, which are error codes associated with the account. If all goes well with that, so we check your key and it works, then we just do a billing pass through. So we don't bill a workspace at all for that event, right? But if you're using our key, then we just pass on the cost. And once we've done that, then we go to the sub account rebilling logic and we say, hey, is this sub account being rebilled or not? If it's not being rebilled, then again, we just pass through. It's no big deal. But if it is being rebilled, then we say, okay, same thing. We're going to build a sub accounts wallet for whatever amount that you put in here and here at 4 cents per message. And then we bill the sub account the flat rate on usage, right? And so in this instance, following this path right here, this person is profiting 2 cents per message, which doesn't sound like a lot until you start sending thousands and thousands and thousands of messages per day, right? And in this scenario, this person who uses their OpenAI key and then comes down here, maybe they opted in for like a cheaper model like Nano or something like that, which literally I probably couldn't even put it in. It's percentage of a penny. This person is profiting almost 4 cents a message. Whereas this person, may get the bill, they're just eating their cost, it's baked into their retainer or whatever they may be, and they're not rebilling it, so it's just passing through. And then the same thing, you could work out the logic here. All right. So if I go into the workspace, I'm going to show you kind of a configuration here. Now, make sure you have your rebilling connected. So this is just coming here, going to Stripe, connecting the Stripe account. You can see the Stripe account connection here, and you can see the gross daily volume of calls and chat messages that are happening, right? So like an example is, these are not tangibly being billed in your Stripe. These are just events, wallet events that are happening, bill downs that are happening in these sub-account wallets that are tied to the workspace. So like implicit charges, right? Because they're in a wallet. So you're not seeing an extra $32 a day in your pocket, but you will get a refill for $50 here, right? Or it may refill here for $50, right? So you can kind of keep up with your implicit profit margins, if that's how you want to do it. That's kind of how it works with the wallet system, right? So you're not going to build for every single message. You're not seeing a 2 cent message charge on your credit card every time, because one, at some point the bank will be like, what the hell's going on? And two, it just doesn't make a ton of sense, right? When you can just put in $40, bill that $40 down, and you can go for a whole day, for example, rather than just getting a ton of 2-cent messages, etc. So make sure you have your rebilling connected here. This is what's going to give us the ability to rebill, right? Now, here is where you can opt in to put in your OpenAI key under integrations, OpenAI. You could put in your OpenAI key if you like, or you can leave it out. Again, this is a scenario up here, whichever one you prefer. You can use our key or you can use yours. In this example, we use the platform key. We don't put it in our own because it's the same thing. Now that I have my rebilling turned on here, I'm connected to Stripe. Everything looks good. I'm going to go to my sub accounts here, and this is just a general thing for kind of management. If it helps somebody, is you have the ability to folder or bucket these sub accounts, right? And what you can do, for at least we do it, we just get some of these out of the way, right? So like we'll put some of these, like these unavailable. Let's put these unavailable, for example. And just this random one. Let's put this into a folder unmanaged, right? So we just have our main one here. But what you can do is you can actually bucket your sub accounts by the plan that they're on, or you can bucket your sub accounts by which services they're using, or you can bucket your sub accounts by other stuff, right? And this allows you to kind of manage it with differences in permissions and stuff like that, especially when it comes to rebilling. Now, I'm going to go into my client accounts. You can do this again just in this main one, or if you haven't bucketed already. I'm just going to do it in this one because these are managed accounts, right? Now, for this one, these people do use voice and chat, right? So I'm going to rebuild for both because we know that if a call comes through, if a message comes through, we don't have our OpenAI key in, so we're getting this bill right here. And then the rebuilding logic we want is we want to be able to make money on that on these managed accounts. So in this one, I can select all. It selects all the accounts in this folder. And then I can edit rebilling en masse for all of these accounts. You can see 5 accounts here. Now, I want to charge for voice messages. I want to charge for chat messages. I want to charge for knowledge base. I want to charge for phone numbers. And here, my cost is $2.50. I'm going to put $4 per number. My cost on the voice knowledge base is $15, so I'm going to do 30 here. And then on chat messages, I know my cost because I don't have my OpenAI key is 2 cents. So I'm going to do 4 cents here. I'm going to double my money. And the same thing with voice. I know I'm at 7 cents a minute, so I'm going to do 14 cents a minute. I'm going to double my money there. So I pretty much double my money on all these. I can go ahead and save those changes, right? Now, if I look in each one of these accounts, you can see all of those configurations are already there, right? Now, to kind of show you this happen live, I'm just going to use our main account here and kind of do the same thing. So you can edit en masse using the select all, or you can go to individual sub account here, manage rebilling, and do the same thing here, right? Easy enough. All right, let's save those changes. I'm going to show you this happening live. So this right here, this canvas, how it works. So I don't have my OpenAI key, so I will be on this side of the workspace billing. And I do have my sub account rebuild at 4 cents, so I'm going to be on this side, so it's going to follow this path, right? So if I go to my settings and billing and wallet and usage, right, I see some chat messages. And then if we go here, it may not be on the same one, but let's do it here. Let's just go and send a simple message. I should have the AI turned on my account. If not, I'll turn it on. Let's go to the inbox. And I think it's one of these that I'm messaging from, this one. All right, so I do have AI active. And so the message will come through from whatever AI is here. Okay. Some misspelling action there. Which, by the way, misspelling or whatever, this is not 2 AI messages. This is just one. The misspelling counts as one, by the way, just so you know. Just so you're not worried there. All right, so now if I go in here to billing, there's my AI chat message. If I go to my workspace, let me refresh the page here. All right. So you see, we're following the path here. AI chat message was generated. We don't have an OpenAI key, so we were billed 2 cents for the message. Here you go. All right. 2 cents. And then I do have rebilling turned on for the sub account that sent the message, and I do have their per chat message sent at 4 cents. Or we can see this transaction here at 4 cents. Now this bills down the wallet 4 cents, so the next message that comes through, for example, would bring this to 43, right? And the same thing here, this will bring this down to 53, and they would bill down respectively. And so the idea is implicit profits, right? Not explicit profits, implicit profits. So I doubled my money here on that AI chat message. If my client ramps up and begins to send thousands and thousands and thousands of AI chat messages, I begin to make a lot of money, right? And even more so, if I want to control this deployment a little bit more, put in my OpenAI key and do something like a nano model, which a lot of people, depending on what you want, it doesn't have to be crazy. You can do something like a nano model or a mini model, and it still works pretty all right. It's not going to be perfect. It's obviously not going to be 4.0, but you can make money on those chat messages. Same thing with voice, works in the same way, right? I'm going to probably guarantee that this call is out of here. 7.9 minutes. So if you see in the same breath here, a call at 7.9 minutes, so almost an 8-minute call, cost me at the workspace level 55 cents. All right. But at the sub account level, my client was billed $2.69, right? And again, these are small numbers that we're working with, but over time they compound, especially if someone begins to ramp up. And so you can see just from this AI chat message and this AI voice message, I've already made, I don't know, let's see, 55. I've already made my money for my Starbucks for today, right? So this is how explicitly and implicitly rebilling works. Think this diagram here. Think your workspace sub-account management here, right? Here or here individually. And you can also snapshot it here. All right. That's how it works. That's how rebilling works. You can turn it on pretty easy. It doesn't take too long. You can follow the steps in this video. Again, rebilling here, connect your Stripe, decide if you want your OpenAI key in or not, and then go to your sub accounts. You can bucket them if you like, or you could do it all here. You can manage them in mass, or you could just do 2 or 3, depending on how you have your agreement set up in place. And you can edit rebilling in mass. You can see 2 accounts selected, or I could do 5 accounts, right? And it edits them in mass. But this is how you make money on usage. By the way, this is Go High Level's model. The reason Go High Level is so profitable as a company, the reason Go High Level makes so much money is not because of their $297 and $497 subscription. In fact, that is mostly a loss for them because they have to pay affiliates 40% of that. The rest of that goes into COGS, right? It goes into the server, goes into everything to run that sub account. The reason Go High Level makes so money is rebilling. They rebill you, and then you rebill your client. Everyone makes money up the ladder here, and it's no different here, right? It's the same exact thing. So this is how you set up rebilling on both voice and chat, and this is how the logic works for that. And then you can see the tangible charges happening. And again, this wallet will pay down faster than mine, meaning I will charge the sub account more than the workspace is charging me. So this is your full A to Z rebilling guide.